All right, Jeff, here we go. Um, so just a little bit about what we talked about. We know that we are trying to cut down on the number of deaths that come from poor positioning. So not just being in generally poor positions that are low and have high visibility, but also there are some times where you're not paying as much attention to where your teammates are at and not paying as, I guess, even more so, uh, mind to where the other team could be based on that, right? Or based on what you can safely know. So we're trying to do a better job of just getting you to look in the right places and be more cautious of certain areas that really should be, you should consider them to be pretty dangerous. So start out, you got hit from that nade on the left, and something notable about that is that you come out here and you don't see anyone, but you got hit by a nade there earlier. So for a player who was on nest and got a hit with the grenade, they're probably not going to back down and run away. Um, he has the sniper rifle, so you could maybe consider that, and that might be what you were thinking here. But you go to, and you see him here, but I know you just missed him. But you go to look out, I guess, and you end up getting killed from the side. And Joey was there, and when you turned in from Junction, you saw that Joey was there. But the thing is that Joey just spawned, like E1 or something like that, and he just got there himself. So if there was someone like hiding over there, or like whatever had happened over there, you wouldn't be able to look at Joey and know what had happened over there. So um, that was just a situation where I think you could have been a little more cautious. So right now we're hanging out in the sewers. That was an unfortunate nade. That's okay. So this is something that I wanted to talk about. So right now you're E1. That teammate just died inside, and the rest of us are outside, still working our way in. And because we were pretty spread out outside, uh, you can know that the team is probably on the inside of the map and could be spread out as far as yellow corner because we don't have people over there. So you see these guys and you start to engage them from E1, which that's like pretty dangerous because for all you know, there could be someone above you right now in junction and you just like have no clue. So you tag that guy, and we were playing like a full team too. So as soon as you tag that guy, they all know where you are. This guy here throws his grenade in E1 because he knows the call out that you were just underpass and went E1. Hits you with his grenade, gets you one shot. He comes to chase you and try and kill you, but you're actually able to get away, which is pretty sweet. I like the inclination to. Initially, we were going to step back into nest and just wait for him to come out, but he was full shields and you were like one shot basically. So you realize this and you go and you change your positioning, right? To go ahead and move out of that sight line that he would have had on you. You're just moving to a completely different set of sight lines and you're trying to live. And that's really great. So you get your shields back. That's awesome. The thing here is that you go and you go from sewers and you jump right out into the middle, basically, of the inside of the map. And, you know, you have these two guys in front of you. And as soon as one of them knows where you are, they all know where you are. And they're probably going to want to jump on you just like they hear that there's a call out for someone who's very close to them, and it's like yelling fire at a crowded theater. Like people are going to hear that and they're going to respond. So you actually get seen by three guys here. The three of them go to play for you. Um, and that's the type of situation where like maybe going ahead and playing from the sewer and jumping up there is not the greatest idea. This isn't anything crazy. It's a good fight on your end. I didn't say anything bad there. That's good to me. So here we go. Spawn inside of the map. We see a couple people die, so we know that they're outside. When I say outside, not just outside near carbine spawn and back rail where we just died, but also possibly through nest. It's one of those situations where you don't see anyone here, so you think that it's safe, but you didn't check things like bat ledge, didn't take a peek underneath the nest to see if anyone was down there. And those are things that really don't take like a ton of time, and maybe not even like looking under nest, because if the other people are playing the game right, they're probably not going to be down there unless they have a reason to. But just taking a quick second to look at bat ledge really isn't a bad idea, especially since we didn't have any reason to know what was going on over near nest. We didn't have any information about that. So because we didn't have any information about an area like nest there, I would have liked to see you be a little more cautious in approaching that. So that guy who was bat ledge actually dropped down like underpass to come up in camo, which I didn't really understand. But if he wanted to stay bat ledge and was just playing from that angle, he could have come up behind you pretty easily. So we go ahead, we get that guy, get back up in E2. Don't hang out in E1 too long, and I really like that. Camo's coming up soon. We know that. We're here. We're playing for it. And I'm really appreciating that. And I think that this is where we actually get a couple of kills because the four of us are playing kind of together, just like helping each other shoot, like playing conservative, taking cover when we take damage and things like that. So we actually take a lead here after being down a couple of kills, and that's really nice. I like what you're doing here right now. Staying out on the inside of the map. No one's pushing out too far. We're not walking next to each other, but we're sharing a lot of sight lines, and we're able to help each other out. You see that, you're putting on shots, you're staying near cover, knowing that if you get a couple more shots on you, you're ready to go ahead and move back in. That's really good. I didn't like that you moved all the way out to nest here, because what that does is, I think that what you were maybe trying to do is that you're trying to keep a sight line on these guys that you were shooting. You were hitting a large percentage of your shots, and by moving out, you could see them longer. But the thing about that is that as soon as you start looking in this area from this position, it introduces a lot of negative spawn influence into outside, like this outside spawn. So they're going to be less likely to spawn there, and that setup that we had is more danger of being broken. And the sniper's not up for another 18 seconds either, so that I would have liked to see you stay inside a little bit. But it turns out being okay. We still have that teammate in bunker. I don't know what you jumped up to bat ledge for. That's not really something that adds a lot of value unless the enemies are on the inside of the map, because anyone who walks up catwalk or something is going to see you. So I'd end up dying here T2, and I think I remember us losing control sometime soon. I don't know what happens. This random comes out of bunker and runs right next to you and Joey, which I didn't like. And we have like 3 people in the same spot, basically. Just like not a great move. I mean, I guess we're going to contest the sniper, but what happens here is that you see that, you move away from them to get your unique sight line, and you want to put shots on that guy, and that's good. But you have to realize that the other team has the entire outside of the map right now. And I was dead T2. Like, I'm still respawning. I don't even think I've respawned yet. And so for you to be right next to all these guys and all focused on one area, I think that you could understand that there's a high possibility that the enemies then will be able to move up behind you from the rest of the outside of the map through back rail and long haul and basement and tower 2 even. So your decision to be in white corner here and then go and ever have everyone look the same way, that's a rough time. And also, I think you walk out a little far here and a little bit farther than you needed to. Just that you were able to take damage if someone wanted to. They could shoot you from the outside spawn. So just taking a couple steps back there would have been something that would have been a good difference maker. And like I said, you know, like your gunfighting has been fine this game. I watched this film once through the other day, and your gunfighting really looked plenty competitive. And that's not saying little, because I remember that these guys that we were playing against were like pretty good. I was having a decently challenging time with them, so you know, it was just a competitive game. So I think that you were not expecting to see this guy here. That's totally reasonable. He totally just worked his way in through all of us. So I don't really have a problem with your E1. I think you were getting ready to go to the scaffolding and jump up to engine 2 and get back in there. But for whatever reason, he was able to make his way in and they broke the spawn. So that wasn't anything on you. We just... And that was just a matter of them collapsing on you. I mean, at that point, there was 3 of them there before we even knew. I don't know what the callouts were like here, but like I was fighting this guy and I decided to jump off. So I don't know if I just didn't call him out soon enough. I probably didn't call him out when I started fighting him, which didn't help matters either. So nothing really there that you did. And like I said, it wasn't a like all around like bad game for you or anything. So it's not like we expect to see bad things all over the place. But I just did want to bring up those certain decision making situations relative to your positioning, things that we wanted to be careful of. You end up getting that guy, which is good. I think you started to turn away just because you didn't see him. But there was fighting over here that happened, and nothing showed up in the kill feed, so you should have known that there was still a guy over here. And you were able to see him, so you probably did know and were just looking for him, but just for whatever it's worth. It's that type of thinking that we want to make sure we do. You also have you've been utilizing like your map movement and stuff, like trying to do the basement box jump and just the little short jump from outside, which I appreciate, saving you some time places. I think that guy near your yellow corner had camo, so that wasn't anything on you. We just didn't get camo at all. Had no clue where he was. Just walking to a nade, that's rough. The only thing that I would have said here, I mean, it was pretty shady that you got hit with that nade. That wasn't anything on you. You just kind of spawned and walked there, and Joey was peeking there, and you walked right into it. So when you go to thrust away, you'll end up hanging out really far into yellow corner, really deep in the corner. So you don't have any cover when you're out this far. The nice thing about playing up maybe closer to the wall or closer to the steps is that a couple steps in either direction, and you have cover from somewhere else that you could have been getting shot. And you have options, right? But when you back up this far, it just allows people from different places to shoot you pretty easily. And if they get an advantage on you and you want to run, you don't really have the option to do that. So by moving out so deep into the corner, it killed any opportunity that you had to try and escape this guy who had a rage boner for you. Movement, watching out for all those freaking grenades. And it's just one of those fights that really was very close to going either way. That's nothing to feel bad about. Got plenty of those game myself, if not in this game specifically. You're also picking up a lot of the rifles and stuff, which is good. I like that. This is a really good flank that I like from you. It was like short and sweet. You didn't really overcommit too hard, which I liked. You were moving out to yellow corner, and it's like when you're getting ready to look into a big sight line like that, we were just located on the inside of the map. The enemy team's on the outside of the map. You go ahead and you move in here, and you have to be prepared to know that there are enemies around you. So you jump up here, and you don't stay too long. You don't move too far deep where if someone turns that corner in connector, that they're going to have you nailed. You're not staying close to that right wall where if someone starts shooting you, you have to take cover outside in enemy territory. You're just hanging close, popping in quick, killing that guy, and instead you make the decision not to push outside, and you come back where we have control, and that's really awesome. That was just good decision making. Being cautious of bunker because there's no one there. I think you're trying to stay here and keep the spawns in our favor, where we're trying to spawn inside. And that was just more good decision making on your end that I appreciate. That guy died. I think that maybe you were looking for that other guy that you were shooting at earlier who fell. I'm not sure. Not that big of a deal. You got the sniper rifle. It's cool. Just looking out. You were hanging out here like kind of long. I think with that lull in the gameplay, you don't want to sit in the scope maybe as much, especially if you're kind of in a position like that to be shot. You positioned yourself like pretty far back right here where you're pretty visible from outside. And we don't have anyone outside at this point. You're the only one here. So you should be cautious of enemies in basement and back rail and things like that. And I think you actually get tagged from basement. So, and then they know that you have the snipe. They're communicating. They know that the snipe is here. So you have to be ready for them to push you. So at that point, it would have been better to try and start to move in, like thrust slide over into junction or like, work your way down into E1 or something where even if you died, at least the sniper wouldn't be so easy for them to be grabbed. But they called out where you were. This guy came connector to try and melt you, and they had you X'd pretty hard. And that was just a tough situation that you put yourself in for, I guess, hanging out there without help for too long and not paying enough attention to where the other guys were at. There's one of those situations that I want to talk about too. So you're playing with the teammates, so that's really not that big of a deal. I just one of the little things about living. So you're pegging shots on this guy, and he's like almost dead, but you see this other one, and you know that there's some enemies probably on that half of the map over there because we're mostly on this half and bunker. So as you're running low on that magnum ammo, you have to be ready to be near cover because you're gonna have to reload soon. So whether that's backing up to the wall or moving closer to bat ledge, um, either one of those would really work. But you kind of get caught out here in the middle of nest without any ammo, and then you also choose to thrust back into it, and that's just really tough. That guy ended up living somehow, and he worked his way into white corner or white hall. So you have to be prepared for that guy to push you. So that's just another situation where you have three guys looking at you. Um, I think that maybe you're underestimating, especially when you're playing against a team, the effect that just that type of call out would have. You know, the communication of the other team. As soon as one of them knows where you're at, there's a much greater chance that they go ahead and hop on you. That was a good kill by you. Except the shot is fine. Take a couple shots. Shooter's got to shoot. You try and do it. There's nothing wrong really with that. One thing that I like that you did here um, is at this point, we're talking about looking at your teammates and looking at the enemy and trying to figure out like what's going on, where people are at. At this point, with no one in bunker, you have me hanging out doing my thing here in back rail, just whatever I'm freaking doing. And Joey over here, it's really hard to say whether the enemy team like might spawn behind us or if the other team really is outside, and if they are outside, like where are they? It's a pretty like tough call to make just because we don't have a lot of information, and you start hearing shots behind here and like nest, and there's still people out here near yellow corner. So you just make the decision to push out, and you I guess commit to that, and it works out because we get a couple of slays, which is good. Uh, but I could easily see, the reason to be indecisive at that point that we were talking about, and I like that you made a decision. And you just worked your way back into your teammates again, which is good. It took a little long, so I think you recognize that we're kind of more on the inside of the map, more or less. You hear a lot of fighting in here, which is good. But you have to know about that possibility of those guys just spawning out there, because we haven't had people out there for a while and outside. We see them spawn up actually right there, and guy ended up coming behind you. So just trying to maybe instead of sitting in that long haul connector area right here and trying to kill that guy, I think I would have liked to see you close the distance a little more just to get your backside into a corner and keep, be covered playing near your teammates and stuff. But I don't know, it's hard to say. It's just something to think about. I'm not really saying that there was like a wrong call made there because I really don't feel that there was. It's just a matter of trying to have reasons for the decisions we make. And at this point, it's just like the end of the game. Just kind of scrappy, trying to pick up kills or whatever. And that's it. And yeah, I didn't feel that this film was a particularly bad game for you or anything like that. It was rough on all of us. It was just like a really strong showing by the other team. But I did feel that there would probably be at least a couple of those situations that we wanted to talk about. So I just wanted to take the time to point out some of those situations and things that maybe we could think about, and looking at your team and where the other team is, and just trying to make decisions based off of that. And I think that if we really hone in on that and are able to cut down on the types of the number of times that we do that in a game, that'd be just really good for you. So yep, that's what I got.